Alright, welcome everyone to part 3 of this Montezuma campaign, and we're going to go over the objectives real quick. A lot of T's going on once again. And by the way, this is the Triple Alliance scenario. Between three members of this, alliance have names I'm assuming I would be considered Tenochtitlan if I wasn't Brock. So I'd be Texcoco, Tlacopan, basically T cubed. But we won't get into that. We don't need to go through math right now. But for this scenario, it's another joke of a scenario. You won't be making any archery. You won't be constructing an archery range, a town center, or not a town center, a barracks, or a siege workshop. It's going to be making a castle, and I'll show you guys what to do. Basically, there is a hidden gem inside this scenario that's trying to trick you. We'll get to that in a little bit, though. So basically, to start off, we're not delivering the Oaks parcel, thank goodness, that there was no point to. We're actually delivering the summons of war. It's kind of a fancy way of saying we cajole Texcoco and Tlacopan to join our side to take down Tlaxcala. So we're gonna have to go to both these town centers first with our Aztec warrior or Eagle warriors. They're basically your scouts. There's a river that runs through the northern part of this map. It's not a concern. Texcoco has a couple of guard towers along that river. They'll take down Tlaxcala's warships, and even if they get that far, I'll be surprised because I'll have some castles in the way as well, because we're going to bottleneck two places. Can't advance the Imperial Age. Not a big deal. Don't worry about this. I won't be even focusing on infantry. So basically, we're gonna start running here. I don't want to waste too much time out in the opening objective screen. Hustle these guys over here. Forget about these Jaguars. I don't care what they're not gonna do anything obviously to you. So Tlacopan is the closest ally to us. They're pretty weak. They're in the feudal age currently, yeah, they're in the feudal age currently, and they have a Jaguar warrior. Don't let that confuse you. It is the most mundane Jaguar warrior you've ever seen. It has very limited, it has no upgrades, obviously, and that kind of an indication of how Tlacopan is going to be.
Emperor Montezuma insists that you make war on the Tlaxcala.
They won't go, they'll get into
his authority, but we will comply. Okay,
so basically you're hearing right there that they're kind of, you know, uncertain about this decision they're making to join Montezuma, and that's kind of another literary device. There we go, foreshadowing to the they're going to betray you. So you can probably avoid these in better route, but I'm just going to run here shortest point. Texcoco and Tlacopan will betray you once you take down the 4 Tlaxcalan town centers, which is your objective. That is, you're not going to be annihilating Tlaxcala. They have a pretty expansive base for a second scenario, and they have a little small base in here. But you're just going to have to worry about taking down their 4 town centers, which is very easy. The town centers are in plain sight. They're easy to get to. We can scout them out, no problem, with our Eagle warriors once we get around to that. We're going to be using petards. And you see right there, there's a relic. There are 3 relics right next to Texcoco, and we'll be using them to build up our gold stockpiles. And you have a pretty good amount of resources to start off this scenario. You're in the feudal age, obviously. First thing you want to do is get to the castle age as quickly as possible, build a town center. And you're going to get a transport ship of villagers down here in a second. But Tlacopan will not be too much of a force. They will produce some infantry. Obviously, is an indication right there, the militia. But when you're an ally with Tlacopan, they will remain producing men-at-arms. Once you take down Tlaxcala's town centers, they betray you, and they produce long swordsmen. So that's kind of how it goes. Unfortunately, they like to save up for their long swordsmen against you, and they're gonna be a little bit iffy as well.
Demands that as a member of the Triple Alliance, you attack the wicked Tlaxcala.
Montezuma asks us to do much for the Aztecs, but we shall do his bidding for now.
Now we can attack the Tlaxcalans. Villagers are being sent by transport from Tenochtitlan to establish our forward base. Alright,
so right there, now the trigger is triggered, that you have to defeat the Thlashkans by taking down their 4 town centers. Very easy to do. It sounds kind of daunting, but they're in kind of really accessible places, to say the least. And in order to take down Tlacopan afterwards, which is probably considered by some people that do it in a different fashion than I do, the most difficult part of this scenario. That easily could be the truth. But the way I do it, what you want to do is you want to construct your base within Texcoco so you can defend them and they can defend you. They're really not going to be doing much for you, and we're not going to allow them to do much for us in defending us anyways. You'll see why. They like to produce archers and some mangonels, so you gotta better get used to them trying to get some plumbed archers and a couple crossbowmen. I believe they go up to crossbowmen. Or they do that, I believe, once you you take down the 4 town centers. So the first thing you want to do, you want to find an okay place. It doesn't have to be great, just any place where you can get down this town center somewhat near their town center. So that's fine. That doesn't really matter where it is. So get this guy down, and you have an abundance of resources around you. I'd keep a couple of these Eagle Warriors right here for right now. You can send one of them to do some scouting, get a lay of the land, find out the other relics. Once you get this town center built, or you can already start doing this stuff, you want to build a blacksmith up here, and probably build a market, because you're going to need two feudal age buildings, obviously, and you want to get the cheapest feudal age buildings before. And you already have cartography, which is nice, so you don't have to upgrade to that. And there's a relic down there. So the main thing, the reason I'm getting to the castle age so quickly, you may think, all right, he's going for the castle trick again. He loves pumping out the behemoths. Actually, in this case, I'm going to the castle age really quickly in order to get a monastery up. Because if you get these 3 relics, this scenario is even easier. Obviously, I'll be pumping a lot of petards, so I won't be needing a ton in terms of gold, but you're going to need some nonetheless. So it's nice to have that and not have to worry about getting gold for yourself. And when you see them going for different mineral resources around you, you want to target those first, because you don't want Texcoco taking the resources that you could be using. And another thing I wanted to bring up about the blacksmith, you're only going to need this upgrade because you're not going to be producing any archery range units, barracks units, or jaguar warriors. So you only want to go for what's it called, the fletching and bicanero. So beautiful, things are looking good. You can build a mill over here, I guess, if you really need to. Keep scouting out for these 2 other relics. I believe there maybe is one a little bit further south. I'm gonna let this Eagle Warrior do some scouting for myself, for my own bidding. Take a word out of Texcoco's book. And you can jump with these villagers over here to get some stone. You just want to get these resource upgrades first, because you obviously, unless you built another town center, which I'm not too in favor of, you could have had them get some resource gathering for yourself. So with that, you can build a lumber camp over here. It's a good inlet area to do that, and have him scout out. So with him scouting out, you can microphones quit chirping. You can see there's a huge gold patch over here, and there's some gold on this little island right there. So you have no shortage of gold, even if you don't get these relics. Don't worry, these relics are just a nice bonus. They're a boni. It takes the resources away from Texcoco and Tlacopan and Tlaxcala, and it gives you them. So you can use more of your villagers for other resources. It's a triple boni. Okay, that's a lot of bonis. And so lumber is nice to have, but we have a lot to begin with. So I'm gonna start getting some stone, because I would not like the purple stone eaters. Yes, the stone. Or no, I'm not gonna make that joke. So there's the 3rd relic. Thank you for doing scouting for me, Eagle Warrior, while your brothers chill back at home. And Castle Age is nearly ready. So once we get to the Castle Age, the first thing you want to do is you want to build a monastery. So I'm going to have her prepared, and you're going to pump out this monastery. You can put it down over there, a little bit closer to the relics. You might as well. And now that they're all done, you don't have enough food. So with these guys, just drop off anything that you have right now in terms of stone, and we can start getting food. You can get food out of the river first, so that's what I'm gonna start to do. Unless, is there some forage bushes? Yeah, there's forage bushes down there, so that's what you should do. to begin with, and you have plenty of gold. You also need to build a house. I almost forgot to do that. So you want to pump out a house somewhere. I don't really care where it is. You're probably noticing it's not too important whether you get a good base layout, and usually that's not a premium for me anyways. So I guess you can have her build another house over there, but by the time that's built, probably won't matter. And she's about done. Alright, so this monk will come out. It takes a little bit of time for them to get produced, but it shouldn't outweigh the our ability to get a monk up and get these relics before they go to the castle age. But like I said before, this is a joke of a scenario, so I don't want you guys to stress out about the beginnings here. If you don't get the relics, not a big deal. It can be kind of daunting thinking you have essentially 3 enemies, but if you play the scenario safe and slow and you don't worry about the Clashkula, although they like to pump out a good amount of infantry, they're not a threat. Just going to bring that up to you right now. They're really not a threat whatsoever. So you can have these guys build, keep building these houses. Alright, so that's a short walk for him. No! Can you even garrison a relic in an archery range? I'm not going to try. And so these guys are just going to chill here. Tlashkula is very weak in terms of their assault, the assaults they have on you. So once you get a castle up in a nice bottlenecked area, which I'll show you, you won't have to worry about them overrunning you whatsoever. They waste a lot of their resources on unnecessary war galleys and crap like that, and it looks like one of the relics is already taken, unfortunately. And are they in the castle age? They might be, considering how high of a score they have currently. But if you wanted to, you could get fervor, but I'm not too concerned about getting that. If we can get the second relic, that'd be a great boost for us. And we produce relics, or we generate 33% more relic gold. Now, if I get a monk going here, you know what I'm doing? You know, you should probably send an Eagle Warrior over to the other relic. That was stupid of me for not doing that. So I recommend sending an Eagle Warrior just to defend that relic that you're intending on getting. So you can have this person start chopping some wood for you. Actually, no, I'm not going to pull that pun. Beat you, Tlashkula, so you can pop that off down there. Plenty of stone around you as well, so you have plenty to fall back on. Tlacopan doesn't like to use the stone because they don't produce any castles, so this will be there the whole time, as will this thing on this little Ithsmiths. I was thinking of that this morning. Ithsmiths. It's one of the hardest words to pronounce. The most underrated word in terms of pronouncing. At least I think so. So we got some idleness. Alright, so we do have some idle villagers. You can pop them down there because there's nothing else we can really build at this moment because we don't have enough stone. You could build a university, which I'll be getting to, but I don't give a crap about that right now. I want to save enough for some farms or some other upgrades. So you have the rally point set on those forage bushes, and we have 2 relics in there now. So beautiful. We have a monk as well, and they're going to heal us up, and he's over there. So we could send him down there, and the music went away, obviously. And here is an example of their ward galleys that they like to send in here. It looks like it's a little bit out of range of this watchtower currently, but I don't really care. I don't really care if Texcoco gets overrun because you don't want to build your ships over here anyways, and Texcoco can die all they want. I will have less of a worry or a concern to produce petards and castles to take out Texcoco and Tlacopan later on. So we have some more room for some more villagers. What you're going to do, I want to get to the strategy now about taking down Texcoco and Tlacopan. You're going to build a castle surrounding their vital organs, their vital buildings. And what that means is the archery ranges, unit producers, and the town center, obviously. They will get a castle up somewhere in here, and you're going to build a castle in range of those carotid arteries of structures, both in Tlacopan and Texcoco. Obviously, Texcoco will have a little bit more in terms of that. But once you do, what are you doing, man? Get over here by your bros sweating away in the forage bushes. Another guy. And you can also build a wall around their unit producers. So when they do produce a unit, it gets confined within a wall. Although that can get a little dicey later on because you're going to be plotting some petards about 5 at an archery range or a barracks, and the town centers, obviously. So once they switch over to your enemy, boom, all their big unit producers are gone, and they have nothing to fall back on. No castle, no defenses, no nothing. So they're building a castle right now, which we can try to get in the way of. Run on the building. So I guess it's somewhat important to have them have a castle early on, though, because that will allow you to take out some of the Tlaxcalan assaults that include some light siege weapons, and so they're not going to allow us to do that. Stupid. So looks like we're about to have 10, so we just need one more villager here, and beautiful. So this villager can be a builder, and I'm going to confine in some of their unit producing structures right away. And then next off, you want to get some people to gather some stone. Make sure you have enough resources to get the upgrades at the mining camp to boost your stone gathering. So you can bring them over here and just make sure you got it rounded off. Okay, that'll start for us. 2 more villagers here, and you're not attacking him. Thank you. You're very fast, and he's not. Doesn't mean you can go shanking him whenever you feel like it. So that'll be a little morale booster for the city, but that morale is going to be going down the tube in a split second, in the blink of an eye. Later on, they did not know. Alright, so now we can focus on this other archery range, and this is kind of a pain to get this out of the way because of the micromanaging that is involved, but it's kind of hilarious and it helps out later on. You can really pin down their units with your castles, make the work a little bit easier for your castles and whatnot. Alright, so beautiful. Getting that sealed up, and now go for 4 of these guys. We're going to set a rally point. It looks like they use up the stone in our close proximity, so we're going to send them over there. And you can focus on cornering up this castle. Tlaxcalan, you can screw. Okay, that came out wrong. But don't give 2 wooden nickels about what Tlaxcalan's doing currently. So you're getting up here. You ready? No? Okay, we're going to switch off. Change the scenery. Benton. And that looks, we're about, okay, that should do the trick. You can kind of get the indication how things are going. So 4 more, and now that they're done, you can plop down a mining camp, and you should have plenty to get gold shaft, stone shaft, whatever it is. What is it? I need to figure this out. Stone shaft mining. You kind of associate upgrades with the icon, not the word sometimes. So you can play a game for a number of years and never really pick on some of the nuances, which is sad. That's sad about our society. We always think we're running out of time, we don't have enough time, and we skip over the little nuances in life. So that'll be all sealed off for us. We'll do that with the castle next, because obviously those will be some powerhouse units being produced in there potentially. And alright, so 100, so beautiful. We can sneak that in there, and you're going to be bottling off this with obviously some walls, fortified walls, and a couple castles, which will be beautiful. Once you get those up, the scenario's over. Nothing to worry about. You can just sit back here and produce some petards. So I'm going to do off screen. Basically, I'm just going to be gathering some resources, walling off any structures that I need to wall off. That frickin' siege workshop in a terrible location. Alright, so they're all done. So it looks like they are going to be reassigned, and no, you have some different work that you can focus on right now. They're going to be reassigned, and I don't see any more food other than over there. So I'm going to run over here. No, I'm going to start producing some farms. And if I can get heavy plow, I will do that. So not enough food yet. And there's not much to do in this part. We're running out of time. We got about 30 seconds left. So I'm just going to start gathering some more food off screen. And no building plumbed archers. No building plumbed archers. And that's about it. I really don't have anything else to do off screen. So I'm just going to be resource gathering. And I'm probably not going to wall off this off screen. I'm just going to be doing a little bit of resource gathering. So I'll see you guys in part 2. a little bit later on, and I hope this gave you a good start. See you guys later.